Hello, boys and girls. This is Mr. Bedley teaching you 4th grade Excel lesson number 36. We're going to learn about subtracting 4-digit numbers today and doing some multiplication facts with products up to 50. I am going to teach you how to subtract. I think you won't have much of a trouble just doing plain old subtraction. The tricky part today is that we're going to subtract where we have to regroup from zeros. And I'm going to show you a little method for that that makes it easier, all right? So first of all, number 1 here has 4,006 minus 1,237. What they did on this is they did the 6 minus 7. You can't do 6 minus 7. So they went next door to this 0 here to regroup. But you can't regroup from a 0. There's nothing to take. And then that 0 goes next door to this 0. There's nothing to take from that 0, so then you have to regroup from the 4. They crossed out the 4 and changed that to a 3, which then made that 0 next to it become 10. And then you regroup from that 10 to make it a 9. And then this 0 here becomes 10. And then you regroup from that to make that 9. And then finally that becomes 16. Whoo! That's super complicated. I'm going to show you a much easier way to do that. So then you can do 16 minus 7 is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. 9 minus 2 is 7. And 3 minus 1 is 2. To check your work, you take these two numbers here, the answer or the difference, and the bottom number in the subtraction problem, and you add them together right here to see if it comes out to be the first number that we started with. All right, so you can see that when we add 1,237 to 2,769, we do get 4,006. That matches up over there, so we can feel good about it. All right, I'm going to do this next problem on a blank page so that we don't have to deal with all this mess, because this is just not a good way to do it. So the problem is 5,000 minus 1,535. All right. How could we do this without having to regroup, all that? I go 0 minus 5. Now, if you think that 0 minus 5 is 5, it's not really the answer here because we can't take 5 away from nothing. So what I have to do with the 0 is go next door and regroup. Grab something from the tens place. The problem is there's nothing in the tens place. There's also nothing in the hundreds place. So what I'm going to do is box these zeros along with a number that's not a 0 and take a look at the number as being 500. So instead of going next door and seeing 0 tens, I'm going to see this as 500 tens. Now, if I take 1 10 off of 500 tens, I get 499 tens, because 1 less than 500 is 499. Now this 0 here can become 10, because I just moved 10 over next to the 0. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 3 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 4 minus 1 is 3. Let's check that to see if it's right. 3,465 plus 1,535 is equal to 5 plus 5 is 0. That's 10. Bring the 1 up here. 6 and 3 is 9. Plus 1 more is 10 again. Bring the 1 up here. 1 plus 4 is 5. And 5 more makes 10 again. Regroup with the 1. 1, 3, and 1 makes 5. 5,000 matches up with that 5,000 up there. All right, I just deleted that problem. Let's try another one similar to that, okay? How about, what if we did 7,002 minus 2,451? Just watch me do this problem and see if you can kind of think ahead of me a little bit. First of all, some kids automatically, once they learn this little trick that I show them, they start just boxing everything. So you got to really think about when are you supposed to box stuff. 2 minus 1, do I need to regroup in that situation? If you hold up 2 fingers, can you take 1 finger away? Well, yes, you can. So 2 minus 1 is just 1. Now I go to the 0, and I'm going to do 0 minus 5, which I cannot do. And here's a mistake that kids will make. With the 7002 in this situation, they box the whole 700, but we're not doing that. This 0 right here needs some help in order to subtract 5 from it. So I'm going to go next door to that 0 right there, which has nothing. I'm going to take that 0 and group it together with the 7 to make the number 70. So now it's 69. Do you see the difference between this and this here? I'm boxing the 70, not 700. So 69, I'm going to move that 1 over there. Actually, I'm moving 100 over next to that 0 tens. So now I have 10 tens. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 4 is also 5. And 6 minus 2 is 4. To check that, I'm going to write the answer or the difference. Add 2,451. Hopefully it'll come out to be 7,002. 1 plus 1 is 2. 5 plus 5 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 6 plus 4 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 7. 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. That matches up, so I can feel confident that my subtraction answer is correct. All right, let's move on. I've written down a couple of problems here for you to try for 3 and 4. I want you to pause the video, copy those problems, solve those problems, do the addition to check it, and then turn the video back on. All right, so you should have already done number 3 before you watch me do it here. This one's very similar to the last problem I just showed you. 4 minus 4, we do not need to box the 600. We can do 4 minus 4. It's 0. If you struggled with this one, maybe that's where you went wrong. Another place where you might have gone wrong is 0 minus 9 is not 9, first of all. You can't take 9 away from nothing. So when I go next door to regroup, I'm actually going to that 0 right there. So I'm going to group that 0 with the 6. If you boxed the whole 600, there's no reason to do that because we're doing this 0 right here minus 9. So 1 less than 60 is 59, and that 0 becomes 10 right there. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 6 is 3. 5 minus 5 is 0. Don't put a 0 there. If you wrote a 0 next to the 310, erase that because that doesn't make any sense to write 0, 310. And then I'm going to add it up. If you have not done this yet, pause the video and do that now. And I'm adding 310 to that. 4 plus nothing. 9 plus 1 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 6 plus 1 is 7 plus 3 is 10 again. Regroup with the 1. 6,004. 6,004. I'm feeling pretty good about that. All right, if you totally messed up that last one, you might want to pause the video and see if you can fix 4 before you see me do it, because this is going to be very similar. Well, actually it's not. I don't know if you misunderstood. That's a 0 right there, not an 8. If you wrote an 8 there, erase it, fix it before you watch me do it here. 0 take away 2, can't do it. So I'm going to come next door to the 300 and regroup from that and make that 299, which is 1 less than 300. That 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 2 minus 1 is 1. 1,508. That's supposed to be a 0 there. I'm trying to write with my big fat finger. 1492. Does anybody recognize anything about that number? Do you know what is significant or important about the number 1492? I'll tell you in just a second. Stay tuned. 8 plus 2 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 5, 1 is 6 plus 4 is 10. Regroup with the 1 again. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. And 3,000 matches up. Well, 1492. That's the year that Columbus sailed the ocean blue. All right, I've got 2 more problems for you here, numbers 5 and 6. I'd like you to copy these problems onto your paper, solve them, and check them using addition. Then turn the video back on. So 4,030. First of all, I am going to go, and here's another situation where a lot of kids like to use the box when they don't need to. 0 minus 4. I cannot subtract 4 from 0, so I go next door to the 3. When I go next door and there's somebody there, if there's nobody home, I'm going to be boxing. But there's actually somebody there. There's a 3 there. I can steal one from him and make him 2. So now the 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 minus 2 cannot do it. Change the 4 to a 3. I'm stealing from him. The 0 becomes 10. Notice no boxing on any of this, just like the old days of doing subtraction with regrouping. 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. Let's check this. 2, 8, 0, 6. Ooh, that's tough. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. Regroup with the 1 there. 0 plus 1 plus 2 is 3. And 8 plus 2 is 10. Regroup with the 1, 4, and it matches up. So make sure you got that for your answer. Pause the video, erase and fix it, and match it up with my paper if you got it wrong. Okay, 1 minus 5 cannot do it. So this is a situation where I have to box because when I go next door, there's nobody home in that tens place. There's a 0 there. The 300 becomes 299. Now that 1 there becomes 11. And 11 minus 5 is equal to 6. Right? 6 plus 5 is 11. 9 minus 9 is equal to 0. And then you have 9 minus nothing, which is 9, and a 2. So you should write 2906 plus 95. 6 plus 5 is 11. Regroup with the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10 again. Regroup with the 1. 3001, which is what I started with up there. I can feel good about my answer. All right, the next part of our lesson here, we're going to be learning that repeated addition is the same thing as multiplication, which I'm sure you already know. If we add 6 plus 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 6, we get 48. If I count these sixes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that means I'm doing 8 sixes, or 6 times 8, which is also 48. Why don't you pause the video and try number 8 on your own? Okay, you should have already done this. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 sevens, I know already, because I do math all the time, is 49. 7 plus 7 plus 7, and so on, 7 different times is the same thing as 7 times 7, which is 49. You should have done all this stuff that I just showed you right here. All right, here we go with the next problems. Go ahead and copy these onto your paper, pause the video, solve it, and then turn it back on to see what you were supposed to do on it. So this, we've got 4 different 9s. You should have already done this on your own. That's 36, and you do 9 times 4, or 4 times 9 is 36. And here we've got 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. We got 6 of them, which is also 36. 6 times 6 is 36. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 fours is equal to 32. 8 times 4, or you could have written 4 times 8, is also 32. Okay, pause the video, do the basic math fact practice at the bottom of the page, and then turn it on when you're ready to see the answers. So you should have already done all of these on your own. Don't keep the video playing. Do it on your own and practice this. And then you're going to pause the video and check your answers. Here we go with the answers. There they are. Okay, so pause the video, check your work, turn it back on after you've erased and fixed all your answers. And I just want to remind everybody to make sure that you're really adding up those check answers. Don't fake those check answers. Make sure you put labels on all your word problem answers. Make sure you show your work anytime you possibly can. Anything that's in your head needs to go on that paper. Don't solve anything just in your head. I want to know what's going on in your head. You can't turn your brain into me. So you've got to put it on the paper so that I know that you know what you're doing on your math. Also, don't forget, we never put cent signs with decimal points. Cent signs always go all by themselves. You put dollar signs with decimal points, but not cent signs. Another reminder is put cent signs after numbers, not before numbers. The dollar signs do go before the number, though.
and the cent signs come after the numbers. All right, just a couple of good reminders for you. Make sure you're understanding your math. If you don't understand something, get some help. Thanks for watching.